All right. I'm going to back up from pivot tables. I want to just look at the data here for a second. So notice I'm on Dataset 2. Okay, so Dataset 2, and before you start making a data table out of this, you have your data. So here's what I want to do is I want to see if I'm going to make a data table or a pivot table, pardon me, what is the best way or what are the best things to use for my rows and my columns. Like I said, don't necessarily want things that are going to be that there's a lot of unique values. Okay, now I think it's pretty obvious that cost is not going to be one of my rows or columns. That's probably going to be my values. Okay, so just my values, that's going to be cost. Okay, most likely. But if you have a whole bunch of data, how do you figure out what's what? So I like to do this. I will, in one of the cells, I'll do count unique. Remember, like I said, I don't want a lot of unique values. So if I look count unique and I click on, let's click on this column, B. How many different companies or products do we have? Okay, so it throws it in there and it says 23. All right, that's not bad. How many different people do we have? We have 12 different people. How many different dates do we have? About 93 different dates. Now, granted, it is also counting the word date. Up here, it's counting the word product. And up here, it's counting the word person. So those are unique, unless there's a person named person and a product named product. Okay, so I'm not going to use this for my rows and columns, but I could use this and I could use this. All right, so let's start with that. So there we go. That's how many we had, just in case you weren't seeing the little help text. All right. So that was how many people we have. That's how many products we have. All right, so let's use that data, and we're going to go ahead and make a pivot table from that. But I want you guys to go ahead and give it a shot, and then I'll come back in the next video, or I'll come back in a second and play with it. So go ahead and give that a shot. Hopefully you've gone ahead and given that a shot. But here we go. Let's go ahead and make a pivot table. So again, select the data, pivot table. So there we go. All right, now we said that there were not a lot of people and there is not a lot of products, but there's a lot of costs and a lot of dates. Okay, so let's check this out. For rows, what if I just did people? There's 12 of them. Okay. For values, let's go ahead and add costs just to see what that looks like. That's kind of interesting. All right. If I were to add products under columns, notice how large the table gets. What if I switch them? There we go. Still a pretty big table, but it gives me a lot of pretty interesting information. Now, another way of looking at this is what if I just made them both rows and I didn't have any columns? So now I know I have each product, and under each product I have who purchased each product, and I have a total. So I know that this is company expenditures. A Magna Limited total was 30,000, and these are the people that purchased it. Okay, so that's one way of looking at data. What if I switch the order of the rows? Now I know for each person, what did they spend money on? And what's the total that each person spent? So same data, two different ways of looking at it. Okay, and notice, just so you're aware, I don't have anything in columns. You do not have to have columns. Right? If I wanted to, I could also find, let's get rid of those values. Let's see what happens if we add date in there. I can count the dates. So the number of times they purchased each one of those, it looks like everybody purchased it once. So Ben purchased this 2 times. Okay, so that's what that means. A sum wouldn't really make sense here. A count unique is probably going to give me the same. All right, let me go back and add the cost in there. I can sum, again, counting, I can do an average, but I don't know how helpful that is. But I'll go ahead and leave it as a sum. All right, so those are just a couple different ways that you could play with this data. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into the next data set in the next video. But again, just different ways of playing with tables.